we go. I'm on a Harley Davidson. You all know I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Harley Davidson. How my journey into motorcycles started was massively with Thug, my Dyna Street Bob after my accident, a big comfortable cruiser with an engine. And so I have got the Breakout behind me. This is a monster. Wait till you see the size of the rear tyre. And then we have a Street Glide as well, which Annika is going to jump on. These are two beautiful new Harley Davidsons. I will give you a little bit of a lowdown of what I think of this bike later. The Street Glide I have ridden before, so you can check that out on my YouTube already. Really big comfortable cruiser. But we're not here to talk about Harley Davidsons today. We are here to go watch some lunatics get sweaty, swear, get covered in mud, get stuck on some rocks, and have a lot of fun in the FIM World Championship. So let's saddle up, let's go watch some racing. Just had a beautiful ride in the sunshine. That is a weapon. That rear tyre definitely makes some unique handling. I can see dust in the air at Walters, which means there is riding going on. It is getting very exciting now. We have found wood-fired pizza and we are chasing the dust. So literally just in front of us is the basin where the Prologue is happening. Pretty cool atmosphere. Red Bull's here, they've got their Red Bull DJ, there's people, there's a whole setup of, we found this way, of shops and retailers, places to help servicing your bikes, food, and some dirty big tyres on a hill. We're in the right place. The big ramp. So we are chilled out on a bank eating pizza, but the carnage out there is a totally different scene. This is so weird being on the spectator side, because this is real chill. They're a lot bigger when you get up close. Am I gonna make it across the mud? So my prediction is that the pro guys won't be touching the ground in here. They'll just be doubling straight over the top. Probably worth explaining what the FIM actually is, how it links to a race in the Carpathian Mountains in Romania or the other ones that are all over the world, and so let's do some explanation. So the FIM is the Federation Institute of Motorcycles, which is one of the governing bodies globally for a certain amount of protocol, safety, regulations in motorsports. I guess is there to help keep us riders safe and also regulate competitions and things like that. Now, hard enduro is a category of motorcycles. Now, if you want to think about how many motorcycles you're allowed to have in your life, I generally say it's N+1. So N is the number of motorcycles you have, +1 is how many you're allowed. So in my garage at home, I might accidentally possibly have 9 motorcycles, but they're all different. Some people understand little black dresses. You can have lots of different types of little black dresses. It's the same with motorbikes. And hard enduro is a different category of motorcycles. So the Harley that I rocked up on today is not going to make it around this track, but the bike that will make it around this track isn't going to do the sort of riding that the Harley I rode here today on. So hard enduro, the easiest way to describe it is if you were to stand there and look at the terrain, kind of like I am right now. If you look just over here, there is a pretty nasty rock garden climb. You're going to look at the terrain and go, ugh, I'm not sure I want to walk over that. Look at these sleepers, look at these logs, the tyres. You've then got to go and get over that at race pace, surviving on a motorcycle that weighs more than you with other competitors around. And I have been told that using someone else's head for traction if they fall off in front of you is frowned upon. You're meant to try and go around them. So you're also keeping a lot of eye on all the other competitors around you. So hard enduro tends to be a slightly shorter distance than, say, typical enduro, but very, very technical terrain. Now, there is a slight deviation when it comes to the hard enduro rounds that are happening all around the world, this being one of them, Valleys here at Walters Arena in South Wales, in that these are big, colossal, long events. So Redbull Romaniacs, for example, is 5 days. This is only going to be an afternoon race, which means I anticipate that Nick Plum, who is one of the legends behind the races that they put on here at Walters Arena with Valleys Extreme, Dawn Till Dust, is not going to go kindly on these riders. There are going to be some monsters out in that woodland. Now, Walters Arena has kind of got a bit of a reputation for snotty, wet, slippery Wales. I'm on a bank here. It's super kind of slatey, rocky, slidey. There's not much grip. And normally this terrain is incredibly wet. This weather is pretty unusual. Now, the organisers are going to have organised and planned the track based on all variations of weather. So this track needed to be rideable if it was suddenly a massive rainstorm and it was a really wet weekend. So my gut says it might be a slightly easier, don't want to jinx it for these poor riders, event than it could have been if it was really wet. The forecast is looking dry for the weekend. Only time is going to tell. I'm unfortunately not going to be here for the whole weekend, but what I wanted to show you was the prologue. The prologue is often the most exciting part for spectators. And with these events, the prologue is your time seeding into the main race. So your performance on your prologue lap, which tends to be a short, sharp, technical mayhem, great for spectators. Your time then sets the seed list, which is a starting list in the main event, which will be over the course of the next few days. And now from here, I can see the start line. We've got a big Red Bull balloon and they come straight into sharp corners. There's lots of corners and twisting around across the paddock here. We've got a big rock garden going up. We've got big boulders they've got to go over. We've got lots of ladders and mazes. We've got pyramids of trees. Watching some of the guys goes over those just now, they are steep. They are spitting the riders out. Now, I've done Valleys Extreme here a couple of times. That was actually the first hard enduro race I ever did. And it was that race that made me sign up for Redbull Romaniacs. And I remember that year, Nick Plum put in skips, as in the big metal construction skips, and we had to like ride up and get into it and then get out the other side. I thought I was going to die in a skip, seriously, that day. We've got some plastic drainage pipes. They can be incredibly slippery. We've got some bumps and burns and tyres. No water. Sometimes at these events it is incredibly wet, but without wet you have the other complication of dust, and it's going to be really dusty for the guys out there. So visibility when there's mass starts is going to make it extra challenging. And that, I guess, is the easiest way to sum up how these events do. So riders are then going to start their main race. Now, there are always different categories. It's not just, normal people riding alongside the pros like Billy Bolt and Johnny Walker, all of that lot. They have their gold top category, and they're going to be doing the most gnarliest of terrain, the longest distances. You then get lower categories, which enable the slightly more mere mortals to have a go and have a play and an experience. So today, the prologue, we saw the ACU lot go around first, their qualifying laps, time laps, and then this evening, the big FIM boys will be taking this on.
We are here at the Valleys Extreme FIM Hard Enduro World Championship with Vanessa Rock, the girl on the bike. Vanessa, nice to see you here again.
It's really good to see you.
But you are not riding this weekend, eh?
No, honestly, it didn't even cross my mind to enter. I've been so focused on the desert rallies, just finished the Africa Eco race, that I haven't been on my hard enduro bike for easy a year, and it would be pretty unkind on myself to throw myself straight into this. So I need to get a little bit of hard enduro time again, and then why not in a future year?
Yeah. The people all around the world, they enjoy your stories, your lifestyle, what you do, and I think you also enjoy that very much, what you do.
I definitely enjoy it. It's pretty exciting because my followers never seem to know where I'm going to be, and I think half the time I don't either. I just end up in different countries and different situations, and I really enjoy it. I get a lot of like passion and energy from riding motorcycles and driving cars.
Yeah.
And if I can try and inspire and energize other people to just get up and go do something, that is it's great.
That's great. What are your plans for this year? What is to do? I think a lot of things to do. Ne?
Yeah, so I've got some big trips on motorcycles. I've got one in India, a beautiful trip on the Royal Enfield on the Himalayan, which will be amazing. I'm going to Norway on a Harley Davidson, and then I've got some big races in the Defender Bowler rally car. So that's exciting. Like next week I'm heading to Spain, Lorca, and that's my first big long special stage in a car. Nearly 400 kilometer day in a car, so that's going to be a new one.
And what was the point so in your career that you come to the point that you can live from that it's not only a hobby, that is a little bit more so?
Yeah, so I've been doing this full time for 4 years now, and I suppose when I initially quit my job, I didn't have a full income from the girl on a bike in that world, but I was at a point medically following my accident that something had to go. I just didn't have the capacity. I needed more time for the hospital and the rehab. And then I was able to put more energy into the girl on a bike, and I've just managed to grow it. I think a lot of people look at it and go, oh, you just post stuff on social media and it's all glamorous.
Yeah, but they don't know what is behind that and to come to that places and what is all around that. Ne?
Yeah, it's a full working business. You've got to do your own tax returns and editing and public relations and marketing and planning, and they've got a lot of hats.
And is there any chance to see you again in hard enduro, extreme enduro?
Oh, I'm sure I'd never say never.
Yeah.
If the opportunity comes about, I'll swing my leg over that bike, that's for sure.
Cool. Let's wish her the best. Our Vanessa, the girl on the bike, she is the number one, eh?